All right, what's up, guys? Little late, but still before the first game. So, thank you for your patience. This is your Week 8 Doggy Style League preview. Um, just jumping right in. The first matchup is myself versus Jake Freeman. Um, Battle of two 6-1 teams. I'm on a 6-game win streak. Jake is on a 2-game win streak. Jake is first in his division. I'm second behind Steve Carter and mine. Um, first, first off, we've got Tom Brady for me at quarterback, Phillip Rivers for Jake. This is going to be a good matchup. I expect both of these guys to score pretty high, but I'll give the edge to Rivers right now just because of the good matchup and the fact that it's not a Thursday night game. But you never know. I mean, Brady has put up at least 27 in every game. In 3 of those games, he's been over 30. So we'll see. Running backs, I've got Le'Veon Bell and Latavius Murray, although that's subject to change depending on what I hear about Dion Lewis before the game. Um, Jake's got AP and Mark Ingram. This is another powerhouse matchup. I like Le'Veon Bell the most out of all of them, but I think I like AP and Mark Ingram better than Latavius Murray just because Murray's got a terrible matchup against the Jets, who's got the number 1 rush D in the nation right now. So I think that's a toss-up as well. Wide receiver, I think this is where I separate. I've got T.Y. Hilton and Alshon Jeffrey. Jake's got Golden Tate and Ruben Randall. Even though T.Y. Hilton's going to be seeing a lot of Josh Morgan, he's got 10, 15, and 29 in the last 3 games. So I think T.Y. Hilton's trending up just like Andrew Luck is. And I think their fortunes will continue to go up as they start playing kind of desperate. Alshon Jeffrey also looked really good in his last game, going for 147 and a touchdown, got 24 points. Going against a pretty stout pass defense, but I don't think it'll matter. Jeffrey and Cutler seem to have really good chemistry, and I expect that to continue. Jake's got Golden Tate and Ruben Randall. Golden Tate is really underwhelmed this year. Even with your incentives for catching passes, or your 2 points for catching 5 passes and whatnot, Golden Tate's only broken double digits twice, and those 2 games were 10 and 12. Just not stellar numbers, not what I was expecting this year out of him. Ruben Randall has had 2 really good weeks, got 2 touchdowns in 2 straight weeks, and then other than that, I guess he's been battling some injuries, but 9, 6, 6, and 6. Like I said, even with those kind of PPR things. Although he does get a good matchup, I expect Odell Beckham to be covered by Delvin Breaux for the Saints. I don't know who the number 2 cornerback is going to be. So, could get loose for one. I don't know. But I like my wide receivers better. Tight ends, I just picked up Jimmy Graham off the waiver wire, which was nice. And Jake's got Kobe Fleener. I like Graham just because I think number 1 he's got more talent, and number 2 he is at least the top tight end option in that offense. Whereas Fleener is going to be sharing the field with Dwayne Allen and some other guy, I can't remember his name, who emerged last week as well. So yeah, I like Graham. At flex right now I've got Steve Smith. Jake's got Duke Johnson. I like Steve Smith. He's been pretty good this year so far. Although that is subject to change as well. Thinking about Dante Moncrief, kind of in the same situation as Ruben Randall. While his more talented counterpart, T.Y. Hilton, is going against their top corner, I think that could loosen up some opportunities for the second wide receiver, since he won't be getting so much attention. Defense, I've got Broncos going against Green Bay. It's a good defense and a bad matchup. Jake's got Lions D versus Kansas City, which is a bad defense and a good matchup. That's also a toss-up. I think I win on the strength of my wide receivers this week. I expect quarterback and running back to kind of cancel each other out. But I picked myself to go 7-1. Jake to fall to 6-2. I think the line is probably about right. I think I'll win probably by about 13 or so. Next matchup we have Matt Freeman versus Paul Anderson. Matt is finally going to have to get Zach Ertz out of his lineup, like I've been saying for the past so many weeks. And Matt, you also do have a free spot on your bench. So think about that. Zach Ertz has a bye week, so yeah, going to have to get him out. Paul has LaShawn McCoy and his kicker on bye. Kicker doesn't matter. Losing LaShawn McCoy hurts because I don't see who else you're going to play, really. Quarterback, Matt's got Drew Brees. Paul's got Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think I like Brees better, although Fitzpatrick does have a good matchup against a porous Oakland passing defense. Gave up 30 points to Phillip Rivers last week, so there's that. But I like Drew Brees. He's looked progressively better throughout the season, getting used to his team. So I'll take Brees there. Running back, Matt's got Matt Forte and Todd Gurley. Paul's got Shane Vereen and I don't know who else. Rawls, Williams, I don't know, some backup. That's the clear edge for Matt. Matt Forte's been really good, and Todd Gurley is playing at an incredibly high level right now. 17, 17, and 29 the last 2 weeks, or last 3 weeks he's played. Wide receiver, Matt's got Julian Edelman and Jarvis Landry. Paul's got Mike Wallace and Larry Fitzgerald. Mike Wallace has been pretty underwhelming this year. Fitzgerald needs a bye week bad. He's old and looks like he needs some rest. So I'll take Matt's wide receivers as well. Though we'll see what happens. Both of his receivers are going tonight, and I never like Thursday night matchups, but I just think they're too talented not to score. At tight end, Matt's got Jared Cook going against San Fran. Paul has Gronkowski going tonight. Obvious, gotta love Gronk. At flex, I would think Matt would probably put in Isaiah Crowell over Zach Ertz. But regardless, I think I like Travis Benjamin better than anybody that Matt's going to put in there. Defense, Matt's got the Texans going against Tennessee, which is the best matchup you could ask for. Tennessee's 32nd against defense and special teams. Paul's got the Steelers in the pretty bad matchup. If I'm Paul, I'm changing my defense. So far, I like the Texans right now. I picked Matt to win this pretty big. Next matchup we have Ben Towns versus Darlene Prince. At quarterback, Ben's got Russell Wilson. Darlene's got Alex Smith. I guess that's who you're rolling with. I don't like McCown this week against Arizona for sure. But I like Russell Wilson. I think he'll have some room to run this week against Dallas, who's not bad against the quarterback, actually. But I like him better than Alex Smith for sure. At running back, Mr. Ben's got Marshawn Lynch and Chris Johnson. Darlene's got Antonio Andrews and Kyrie Robinson. I like Ben's running backs. Marshawn Lynch is listed as questionable, but I think he's just getting some rest. He's kind of old. I don't think he needs to practice as much. Going against a crappy Dallas defense, who's 31st against the run so far. Chris Johnson, clear lead back at Arizona, doing pretty well. Yeah, I like Ben's running backs a lot better. Wide receiver, Mr. Ben's got Brandon Marshall and John Brown, who's questionable, but I think should play as well. We'll see. He'll probably play, I think. Darlene's got Demarius Thomas and Eric Decker, who's also questionable. I guess kind of puts you in a bad situation, Darlene. I mean, I guess you're playing Stevie Johnson if Decker can't go. I like the matchup though for Decker against Oakland, but I'll probably still take Ben's wideouts, assuming John Brown's healthy. If he's not, I guess I mean you could put in Brandon Cooks. He's not a bad option. Got 10 last week. That's respectable. Tight end, Mr. Ben's got Delaney Walker. Darlene's got Gary Barnidge. I like Barnidge. He's proven himself to be a top 10 tight end every week. At flex, Ben's got LeGarrette Blount. Darlene's got Antonio Gates. Assuming he goes, I like Gates better. But looks to be kind of a game time decision. I just don't think LeGarrette Blount's going to get a lot of action tonight. I expect Dion Lewis, if he's good to go, I expect Dion Lewis to be better. At defense, Mr. Ben's got the Bengals going against Pitt at Pitt with a healthy Big Ben. And Darlene's got the Redskins on bye. And even on bye, this will be close. I expect Pitt to score a lot of points. I think Big Ben's going to be angry. I think they're going to want to make a statement against the Bengals. And it's the Bengals. I think it's prime time for them to fold in a game, and going into Pittsburgh with a healthy and angry Pitt team, I expect them to get beat pretty bad. So might be even looking at negative points there. So I'm picking Mr. Ben to win this. I like all of his position groups except for tight end and flex better, and that's assuming that Gates goes. If not, I probably like Blunt better than any of the people Darlene has on her bench. I'm picking Mr. Ben to win this pretty big. Probably not by the 25 that ESPN's projecting, but by about 15 or so at least. Next matchup we have David Prince versus Neil. David's at 6-1. Neil's at 1-6. Neil, your team's better than its record, man. And I'm actually picking Neil to win this matchup, as ESPN is as well. At quarterback, David just picked up Matt Ryan. Yeah, you need to drop one of your quarterbacks, man. You got 3 good ones. Going against Teddy Bridgewater for Neil, I like Matt Ryan, even though he hasn't performed well this year. You just got to think that offense gets clicking again against Tampa Bay. Bridgewater showed up last week pretty well, but other than that, he's been pretty underwhelming, frankly. Running back, got Jonathan Stewart and Rashad Jennings for David, Chris Ivory and Doug Martin for Neil. Rashad Jennings is in a full-blown committee of 4 people, so that's not going to be fun. Jonathan Stewart has actually played pretty well this year, the last few weeks at least, 19 and 14. But I expect Chris Ivory to come back and look pretty good against Oakland next weekend, and Doug Martin's been pretty transcendent this year as well. Wide receivers, David's got Antonio Brown and Calvin Johnson. Neil's got Odell Beckham and Julio Jones. This is a powerhouse matchup, especially with Antonio Brown getting Big Ben back. Calvin Johnson's looked like his old self the last couple of weeks as well. Maybe Stafford's finally starting to get healthy. But Odell Beckham and Julio Jones, they are nothing to shake a stick at. I think that's a toss-up. Tight end, David's got Larry Donnell. Neil's got Ben Watson. I like Ben Watson. I think he's getting more and more involved in the offense there in New Orleans. They're actually playing each other, New Orleans and the Giants, this week, so that'll be fun to watch. Flex, David's got Melvin Gordon. Neil's got Jeremy Maclin. That's probably who I'm rolling with on both of these teams. Although, if I'm David, I'm also thinking Tavon Austin, who's balled out the last couple weeks as well. But either way, I think I like Maclin, who may finally be starting to get healthy again. Defense, David's got the Patriots going tonight against Miami, who put up 42 in the first half last week. Neil's got the Vikings going against Chicago. Not as good a matchup as you think, though, with Cutler coming back. I don't really like either of these defenses this week, so I think that's a toss-up too. I'm picking Neil to win on the strength of his running backs. I think Neil gets to 2-6. David falls to 6-2. Next matchup we have Steve. Congratulations, getting on the board last week, 1-6. Going up against the best team in the league, Steve Carter. This is going to be close. Closer than the projections indicate, I believe. So yeah. Quarterbacks, Steve Freeman's got Andrew Luck. Steve Carter's got Aaron Rodgers. I like Luck better. Rodgers is going against the best defense in the league so far. Quarterbacks are averaging almost 9 points less than average. Andrew Luck is definitely on the upswing. He has gotten 32 and 28. That's 60 points in the last 2 weeks. Gotta love it. Think it continues against Carolina. He's looking better and better. Running backs, Steve Freeman's got Lamar Miller and Darren McFadden, who looks to have sealed up the starting job for Dallas, for the Dallas rushing attack. Got 24 points last week. Going against Frank Gore and Devontae Freeman for Steve Carter. This is closer than expected, too. Lamar Miller got 35 points. Darren McFadden got 24 last week. Frank Gore he still keeps getting those yards, but just can't get in the end zone, man. Got 5 games without a touchdown this year. Not what I expected. Devontae Freeman's been really good. Expect him to keep that going. He's probably got a touchdown in pretty much every game. Yeah, he's been legit. This is gonna be close though. I'll probably take, just because Darren McFadden's only done it for 1 week. I mean, I'm high on him this week, but I'll probably take Steve Carter's running backs right now. At wide receiver, Steve Freeman's got Emmanuel Sanders and Jermaine Kearse. Steve Carter's got DeAndre Hopkins and Michael Crabtree. Crabtree's kind of touchdown dependent. And he is facing a really good defense. Kearse has played fairly well this year, fairly consistent when he has played. I mean, I guess that's who you're rolling with, though. See if there's a wide receiver on the waiver wire, though. Steve Freeman. I like Steve Carter's running backs, I think. Or wide receivers better. Hopkins has been really good. And Emmanuel Sanders is questionable. I think he'll play, but still kind of banged up. Tight end, Steve Carter's got Greg Olsen. Steve Freeman's got Jason Witten. That's a toss-up. Both of them are going to get targeted a lot. It's just a question of who gets in the end zone and how often. Flex, Steve Freeman's got Vernon Davis. Steve Carter's got Ted Ginn. Um, that's who I'm rolling with if I'm Steve Carter. If I'm Steve Freeman, I'm putting Gio Bernard in there for sure instead of Vernon Davis. Um, at defense, Steve Freeman's got Seahawks going against Dallas. Steve Carter's got Cardinals going against Cleveland. That's a toss-up. Both great defenses having good matchups. Um, I'm picking Steve Carter to win this, but I think it'll be closer than the 21-point difference. I think it'll be closer to 5 or 6. I expect both teams to score a good bit of points this week, probably over 100 for both teams. All right, next matchup, we've got both Dan Carter and Daniel Prince. Quarterback, Carter's got Jay Cutler. Prince has got Cam Newton. That's a toss-up. I think both of them are going to have good weeks. Cutler's look pretty good coming off of his injury. 2019 and 24, the last 3 weeks. That's pretty good. Newton, if he doesn't throw the picks like he has been, or like he has the last 2 weeks, I expect him to be pretty good against Indy. I think he'll have to be. I think it'll be a high-scoring game. That's a toss-up. Running backs, Carter's got Jeremy Hill and Ronnie Hillman. Prince has got Justin Forsett and Charkandrick West. He's probable, means he should play. Got a touchdown last week. Practiced in full on Wednesday. I think he'll be good to go. Forsett is facing a crappy Chargers defense, so I'll probably take Prince's running backs. Forsett has really come into his own so far the last few weeks. Not on the injury report, which is good as well. Yeah, I guess you're leaving Eddie Lacy on your bench as well, Daniel Prince. Just has kind of sucked this year. Wide receiver, Carter's got Des Bryant and Martavis Bryant. Don't expect Martavis Bryant to be very active in the offense now that Ben's back and going to be looking for Antonio Brown a lot. Des Bryant is questionable to play his first game since like week 2 or 3. Since week 1, actually. Wow. So, yeah, you got to think he's still feeling the rust a little bit. So I like Prince's wide receivers better. Mike Evans and Amari Cooper both have been... Amari Cooper's been consistently good. Mike Evans has been good in bursts. We'll see if it happens this week. I'll probably take Prince's wide receivers. Tight end, Dan Carter's got Travis Kelce. Prince has got Richard Rodgers going against Denver. Not a good matchup. I like Kelce better. At flex, we've got Tyler Eifert for Carter, Stephon Diggs for Prince. That's a toss-up. Eifert's been very involved in the Cincy offense, and Stephon Diggs has really come out of the woodwork the last 2 weeks. Scored pretty high. Defense, Daniel Carter's got Panthers going against Indy. Prince has got Rams going against San Fran. You gotta like the Rams better. I think they're both pretty talented defenses, but San Fran's just a better matchup. If I'm these two teams, I think these are the lineups that I'm rolling with. You got to give Eddie Lacy time to see how he's doing, if he's really over that ankle issue. But yeah, I'm picking Prince to go 3. Both of these teams to be 3 and 5 after this week. Next matchup we have, last one. We got Joe Prince. He's on a 4-game losing streak after getting hit with the Jamal Charles injury, which really killed you. Going against Craig Land, who won last week. Quarterbacks, we got Andy Dalton for Joe, Ryan Tannehill for Craig. Both of these are good plays. I'll probably take Dalton just because I don't like Thursday matchups, and Dalton's been pretty excellent this year. Running back, Bishop Sankey and C.J. Spiller for Joe, Carlos Hyde and Danny Woodhead for Craig. Assuming Hyde goes, I don't think he practiced yesterday. Yeah, he's got a foot issue, which isn't good for a running back. I think I'll still take Craig's, especially since you can just put Alfred Blue in there. Who should pick up most of Arian Foster's lost reps. Woodhead's been good because Melvin Gordon has been very disappointing this year. So yeah, I'll take Craig's running backs. Wide receivers, Joe's got AJ Green and Keenan Allen. Craig's got Randall Cobb and Kendall Wright. I like Joe's better, assuming Allen stays healthy. Randall Cobb hasn't been as good as I expected, and he's got a pretty bad matchup going against Aqib Talib in Denver this week in the Mile High Stadium. So, not kind of tempering expectations there. I like Joe's running backs. Tight ends, Joe's got Jacob Tamme for Atlanta, 3-3 in the last 2 weeks. Craig's got Kyle Rudolph, only 4 receptions the last 2 weeks, and only 19 yards, but fortunately touchdowns in both of those matchups. So if the touchdown streak continues, good on you. If it doesn't, you're looking at 1 or 0 points. This is a toss-up. I mean, if somebody gets in the end zone, they're both pretty touchdown dependent. Flex, Joe's got Rashard Matthews, who cashed in a little bit on the Dolphins' offensive explosion last week, 75 and a touchdown. Craig's got Alfred Blue, who I expect to pick up a lot of the reps for Arian Foster. Hasn't been that impressive, though. I'll probably take Matthews at this point. Defense and special teams, I think I like the Falcons D for Joe better than the Jets against Oakland for Craig. Even though the Jets D is more talented, Oakland's actually shown a pretty good offense so far this season. And Tampa Bay, they're really hit or miss. I mean, they either let you have 17 and 15, or they let you have -5 and -1. So we'll see what happens in the Dome this weekend. Actually, I'm gonna change my mind. I think I like Craig's. I think the Jets. I picked the Jets. But Oakland's been pretty bad against defenses too. So we'll see. That might just be a toss up. This is a really tough matchup to handicap. I think I'll take Joe, though. I like his wide receivers a lot. But I think it's going to be close, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Craig wins. So those are my predictions. I'm sticking to them, and I'll see some of y'all tonight since the women are off doing their thing. So see y'all later.